No Further Information, a podcast for your mom and cops, especially if your mom happens to be a cop. Today's guest is an OG who's doing his best to adapt and overcome struggles of working in bumfuck Texas. He'll teach us that DWI enforcement should really mean something to all cops. And most importantly, he does his damn job. Let's listen to Officer Bob, the big city hunk, slumming it in the podunk. I'm really proud of myself because it took me forever to write that.
I'm Officer Bob, and I'm a police officer in the state of Texas.
So we know each other, right?
Of course.
And what has changed about your life since meeting you? Because you're laid back, you're a cool dude.
Mm-hmm.
And right before the mics heated up, we were talking about how, like, you know, you're in this area where not exactly a lot of people like us, and we're working for these smaller departments. There's 500 of them in Texas. How's the job been treating you?
I will say it was a culture shock, because I've been around people that work for large departments. I'm not going to get like too specific on it. I'll explain. But going from there to, and I didn't work for them. I wasn't a cop there. But working here at a smaller department, it's like I said, it's a big culture shock. The people, the environment, the calls. You know, you hear stories about people from larger departments, the calls that they get versus us. It can be relatively the same, but the volume is lower. You know what I'm saying?
I always look at it like this, and I'm not even from the state, and I always look at it like this. I love the fucking job, you know, and the getting the arrest, finding the evidence, making a good pop, solving a good case. I fucking couldn't stand the people I worked with or around. You know, you have these environments that are just simply not conducive to diversity, not inclusive of, you know, I never reflected the people, and the people never reflected me. I never felt like I was accepted. So a complaint that other cops have shared, which is, well, I didn't belong to any group outside of police because there ain't a bunch of fucking Vietnamese, Chinese people running around. I didn't feel like I belonged to my fellow officers, and then my community that I'm serving, I don't belong either. It can feel very isolating. Do you feel that way?
In certain areas of where I work, yes.
What's been the hardest part about working where you are?
More like adapting to that environment, if that makes sense. Like, I can connect to certain people easier than others, and some people from where I work don't like the way I act, the way I talk, my personality. I'm laid back, but
right.
They just don't like that.
Well, because you're not like them.
Exactly.
And so we'll just put it on the table here. So my guest can't say whatever he wants, but I can. All right. So you go into these fucking podunk towns in the middle of nowhere, Texas, right? You work a bunch of around fucking old ass white people like, hey boy, you know, right? You don't look, as a matter of fact, I have several people in this room. Nobody here looks like the populace we serve for the most part. Okay. And then as soon as you come in, you got your own flair, you got your own style, your own way you talk, whether you're from New York, whether you have an accent, whether you're from a big city and now you work, because my guest is from a big city in Texas. And as soon as you come in with that different flair and that style, that ain't the way we do it, you're now ostracized. And I feel like you're now set up for what we were talking about before we went on the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
To that point, though, I do feel like when you encounter somebody who is a real OG or truly from the street or not one of these little fucking hillbilly, like, you know, the local Earl down at the mechanic, you know, who occasionally has a little bit of weed on him. When you meet a real fucking OG, I don't know, I felt like we can connect a little bit because we're not overstimulated. We're laid back. We can talk to people. We know how to talk to people. So I definitely feel like that's an advantage for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, there's certain areas where I work where I can connect to people, and I'm not saying this is how they are, but I feel like certain people get mad that I can connect to them easier when others can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not saying like a sort of street cred, but it's just like, I don't know if they just wish they can connect to them like I can or what, or maybe they just refuse because they don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
what's a good example of where you were able to connect with someone and others couldn't?
Certain areas where I work, you get people that come from the same city that I'm from, or not even the same city. They can come from a whole other state, but that environment.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference. You're relatively new on the job. In the interest of full disclosure, I was a trainer of yours, and I was made fun of relentlessly because, you know, of my accent. Ironic now, right? Now he's the one being fucking ostracized. But, you know, you haven't been on the job too long. And, incidentally, I taught you, about DWIs and SFST enforcement.
Yep.
And so, that's probably a good place to start there. Tell me a little bit about, what experiences you've had with DWIs, good DWI story, your first DWI.
I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I'll do them. I'll do them.
At least he subscribes.
But there's a backstory to that. I'll get into it later. It was funny. Wrong way driver.
Uh-huh.
And I'm still in field training, and we're on the service road, you know, trying to find him because he's coming this way, and we see him, and we have to turn around to get on the highway to try to flag him down. Mm-hmm. Well, he ends up hitting like a barricade before we're able to even get on the highway, and he turns himself around. Long story short, he pulls over. One of my other guys get him. I'm field training. I got to take the report. So I go there, and this is my first DWI. I was taught to do them in English. No one has ever taught me how to do it in Spanish, and I don't know if there's any classes out there to do them in Spanish. So this Hispanic Mexican guy doesn't speak nothing of English. So it's my first DWI on top of having to do it in Spanish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. Does he not fucking speak Spanish? Do you not speak Spanish?
Well, no, but I'll tell you what, ever since I started when I was a cop, my Spanish has increased. So it's a lot better than what it was. But at the time, you know, I was nervous because it was my first DWI.
I get it. Yeah.
And then I have to say it in Spanish. Right. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, how am I going to say?
Señor, mire mi punto de mi dedo.
Nah, it was.
Síguele con tus ojos solamente.
He understood it for the most part.
Right.
And I managed to get a bunch of words that I thought would be equivalent to what I was taught on SFSTs. And, the funny thing with this DWI is I haven't had this. I just jinxed myself. I haven't had this happen yet since that time. But as I'm, you know, what did you eat? You know, do you take any meds, anything like that?
Tacos.
Dispatch comes back. Yeah, dispatch comes back, and they're like, "Hey, he has a warrant out of blank for DWI." And I looked at my FTO, and he looked at me. I'm like, "Oh yeah." On top of everything else, so I do the SFSTs and, you know, put them in cuffs, stuff like that. I didn't know that it'd be better to get blood versus breath. I didn't know that if they fail to give a bad breath sample at the jail, that it could get thrown out. Well, I don't know if this was, people blame my FTO for this. I mean, I'm not out here pointing fingers, but I really didn't know because I'm being trained.
Your first time you're being guided and told what to do.
Yeah, and then we go to the jail. He gives the first good breath sample. He can't give a second good breath sample, and my FTO's like, "That's fine. Put him to jail. We'll leave. Do the report when we come in tomorrow." And yeah, I know, right? And then I don't know how many months passed. I can't remember, but I was in the store, and one of my detectives calls me, and he's like, hey, on this DWI, did y'all get blood? Like, no, we just did breath. And
not even, right?
Yeah, he's like, well, it got thrown out. He still has the warrant out of blank, but it got thrown out. So I'm just there like, wow.
How did that make you feel?
I was upset, but at the same time, like I said, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? No one ever taught me the whole blood breath thing, but it was upsetting. It's upsetting not only for DWIs, but like when you put all this work and effort into something and then it gets thrown out. Luckily, where I work, the DA, like they're good on, you know, it's not like California or something. Like, but out here, it, you know, they do enforce it.
So, a couple things. So it's an aggressive or conservative county, so they're more willing to prosecute, but they're not willing to accept this particular case because there's insufficient evidence of intoxication. And what we have here is, for those who don't know, the officer chooses what specimen to take from the subject. Now, a lot of departments go into blood only because they don't have an instrument, but the officer chooses. And when the defendant provides a breath specimen, he has to provide two so that the instrument can compare the two specimens. And oftentimes what will happen is you'll have a suspect who either, you know, kind of is not cooperating or whatever, doesn't provide the specimen. You tell him, like, blow into the fucking thing, you know? And then, of course, in Spanish, you're like, así, you know, right? Como, you always tell him, like a balloon, like, como un globo. You know, I learned how to fucking say balloon in fucking Spanish. You know, no use for that word since then. And they'll provide one specimen and not the second specimen, and the test ends up getting invalidated. If they don't successfully submit a second specimen within 3 minutes, the entire test stops. All right. So at that point, what should have happened was you could have said to them, okay, since you can't do breath and you're fucking it up, will you provide blood? Now you have a couple of challenges. Number one, his blood alcohol content is slowly declining. Number two, he could say no. And could he raise the challenge that, well, I consented to breath, but, you know, I gave you a breath specimen to the best of my ability, but now you're asking me for blood? Fuck you. That's still a refusal because the officer chooses. And then the third issue you have is, okay, so he says, okay, I'll go ahead and give you blood. You drive to the hospital and you go pull it to the parking lot and say, yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Like, fuck, now you gotta, you know, so, you know, if you've ever had to, for those unlucky few have had to literally turn around in the hospital parking lot, you cocksucking motherfucker, you know, 111, show me back to the fucking station, you cocksucker. All right. All of that being said, and it's a very long, you've listened to the show, right? You know how this works, right? Yeah. You tell a story and then I go on for 11 minutes. No, but the point being is you did your job. Mm-hmm. That's the theme of this show. And so, you know, whether it is, you know, something scary that you've never done for the first time. And then not only have you never done it, but it was in Spanish. I mean, that's exceptionally challenging even for a Spanish speaker, but you still did your job. You know, you still did what you were supposed to do. And I believe I may have used this example in the academy, but it's like you come on new to your department and you've got your field training officer. Of course, they're going to take the DWI because we're going to take it for training. And then your DWI, who's 415 fucking years old, he's like, last time I did a DWI, the guy was on a fucking horse and carriage. So you go you just came out of the academy, right? Go ahead and do it. And that seems like exactly what happened here. Have you not taken a good DWI since then?
Yeah, I've had, I think I'm good on my DWIs. If one comes my way, I can handle it. I'm confident that I can handle it.
That's good.
I've been blessed that with
an excellent SFST instructor. I know it's okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
You can just say,
of course, the fucking best.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah. No, but I feel like I can confidently do them. I only had one refusal, and that was new, so they had to show me how to do the blood warrant. Mm-hmm. I know the whole thing about leaders. I need to get onto that, just because I feel like it makes it anything to make a DWI easy. Because, like I said,
it's a lot.
I'll do them.
Yeah,
you know. But
so, what's a good DWI story? Give me a good one.
I don't think I really had a good one. They just, I mean, it's all the same, like hitting the line. You pull them over and they're slurring their words and stuff like that. There was something that I guess, impacted the way I view DWIs.
Okay.
You want to hear that?
I would love to.
Okay. I'm gonna be very vague with this, but wrong way driver, obviously. I'm pretty sure you know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
Coming through our section,
mm-hmm.
couldn't get him to stop. Ended up, it's a truck versus a car, hit it head on, and it wiped out a family. Obviously, the driver lived, like always. Unfortunate how that shit happens.
God protects idiots and drunks.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of bodies, so the adults didn't bother me. It's fucked up to say, but I mean, it's part of being a cop, right? Sure. The thing that bothered me was there was a child in the car. And that, I processed it well. But it's not something that you can just brush off. It's something that you're going to have to carry with you until you pass, I guess. But that, it changed my views on DWIs. Like, the whole thing, like, I'll do them, but at the same time, it's like, I'm doing something good. I'm doing my job. You know what I'm saying? And, that just, you can save a life just doing a DWI.
Did he take out the entire family?
Yeah, entire family. Not a spouse, because that's he wasn't in the car, but he took out a good chunk.
And you had to work the DWI?
No, so it was right at city limits. Mm-hmm. I want to say even county limit. Someone else worked it, but I was there. Mm-hmm. Because we were, I guess, as assisting, and yes, I experienced it just being there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But
well, something like that happens, and it's on to the next call, right? Mm-hmm. On to the next job, and nobody really talks about it. How was field training for you?
It was a bit of an experience because I can't speak for all cops. I know every FTO is different. It's weird when you go from one that focuses hard on one thing mm-hmm. to going, and I'm gonna be very vague with this, to FTOs that just want you to drive around all day, mm-hmm. and then jumping from that to an FTO that's proactive, looking for narcotics, looking mm-hmm. for guns, like all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to adapt to stuff like that. And on top of going from days to nights, days to nights, days to nights. Mm-hmm. So, cause some FTO programs are extremely uniformed, and then some are, not to say that they're shit, but they're just not.
They're shit. Yeah.
Yeah. He said it, not me.
They're shit.
Yeah.
Was yours shitty?
I'll let you answer that one for me.
Yeah. And, small town departments, they usually don't have the best field training programs. So what they tell you is in field training, you have to see the tools that you like from each FTO and then put it in your toolbox, right? Mm-hmm. And did you learn something from field training?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And your proactive field training officer, did you get any good dope?
From him, I want to say, I don't think I did. It was,
I guess he wasn't that proactive. Huh?
No, it was it was weird. No, he was, but when he was with me, it just
proactive. What was he? Was he fucking writing fucking animal at large tickets?
No, I had
got 50 today, boss. Yeah.
Yeah, I had him towards the end, so you know how sometimes they let you ride on by yourself, towards the very end of FTO. You're still in FTO, but you're riding by yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was kind of like that, and I guess he wanted to take it for him. Okay. And
did you get any? Have you gotten any good dope
by myself or by assisting? By myself.
Well, I mean, how do you assist in getting dope? There it is. No, yeah,
when you're in training, they have you search the car.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So traffic stop that you conducted or self-initiated that resulted in the 4 pounds or the 5 kilos.
Honestly, not for me. It was like,
so what the fuck do you do all day then?
it was, I mean, it was just like paraphernalia amount, the most.
Yeah. What do you consider the best collar of your career?
What do you mean?
What do you consider the best arrest?
Best arrest? Something that made me feel good. I found a stolen firearm.
Okay, tell me about that. It was his. It was his. You know?
Nah, it wasn't his. It was no, yeah. This one was mine. This one was mine. Yeah. All me, 100%.
Yeah. He's like, it's right, and it's right here too. You know. Like,
yeah. Traffic stop.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, you got any guns on you? And this
what did you stop him for?
Headlight or stop lamp.
Mm-hmm.
One of those two. Something in the back.
Something stupid.
Yeah, something. And
Why'd you ask him about guns?
Because it's something I always do. Like, hey, you got any guns in the car?
You ask that on every single traffic stop?
Or if I forget, but yeah, like I want to say 95% of the time.
Oh, I'm curious to find out who that 5% is. Like, hey, ma.
Nah.
What's up? What's up, girl? Hey, yeah, man. I know you ain't got no guns in here, but you also don't have my phone number, girl.
I was packing something.
Yeah. Wait, what does that mean? Is she a dude?
No, I said she.
Whatever you're into.
Come on.
It's 2024. And, you know, I don't know that that's necessarily illegal, maybe in your town. And so you make the traffic stop.
Yeah, so I know the CCP passed something that we can temporarily disarm people. So I'm not violating that. I'm using that to my advantage in a way to try to see if I can find like the same thing I was looking for: stolen guns, like zip guns, all that stuff. And
so you ask him, "Do you have any guns in the car?"
Yeah.
And then what does he say?
He says, "Yeah, I got one in the back. He works security."
Okay.
I was like, "Okay." I run his info, but it's like it's in the back of the back. It's not like on him or anything.
I think in America we call that the trunk.
No, not in the trunk. Well, if it's the back of an SUV, what do you call it?
Oh,
the trunk,
not the back of the back.
The back of the back.
Yeah. You know, that is a good question though. So if it's like a Tahoe or something, right? What does the statute say in the open container? Right, behind the last row.
Behind the last row.
Yeah. But like, we need a better word for that. It's not trunk, and it's not back of the back.
It's not the bed of the truck either, because he's not a truck.
Yes, we understand. It's not a fucking pickup truck. So, what should we call that? The ass.
The ass.
The ass.
It was in the ass.
It's in the ass of the truck.
Not his ass. The car's ass.
It was inside her ass where she was packing, a stolen pistol, and a penis. All right. So you asked him, and he said, "What made you? How'd you know he was in security?"
He told me. Okay. He said that's the reason why it's there.
Right. Yeah, I got a gun, but I'm in security. Okay.
Yeah, and then he ended up having a warrant, so I do the whole pull him out the car, put him in cuffs.
Was it Class C?
Nah, it was. It wasn't a felony, but I think it was around an A or a B. It was something like that.
TCIC.
And he gives me permission to get the gun and stuff like that. So I get the gun, I read the serial number, I put it back. But I don't walk away. I'm standing like right there, and they're like, "Hey, just so you know, that gun's stolen." I was like, "Okay, go ahead and confirm on that," because he's in cuffs. He can't go anywhere. I'm confirming the warrant and the gun. Ended up confirming on both. So, his spiel was that he bought it from a pawn shop, and I was like, I didn't question him, but in my head, I'm like, "Well, do you got a receipt? Do you have anything like that?"
What if he pulled it out? He was like, "As a matter of fact, it's right here. Here's a scanned PDF." And he pinches like this. And he's like, right here, sir, see? Right there. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Dickface. You're free to leave. Thank you. Can you airdrop that scanned PDF? So, that was good though, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you, why do you always ask people if they have a gun in the car?
It's other than me looking for stuff, it's also so I'm aware of that they're armed. Like, I approach everything the exact same, whether it's a call or a traffic stop.
Sure,
but it gives you it's more intel for you.
If I could amend that statement to, you don't approach every job and every stop every single way. You do approach them with the same heightened sense of self-preservation, right? Yeah. In other words, it doesn't matter that this is some hot tranny or it's the guy with the gun, right? What? It's a call. It's called a callback. But so it doesn't matter. You're still going up to, you're staying behind the B pillar, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to a domestic, you're standing on the side of the door, when you're making so I would caution you against approaching everything the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I also further submit that asking a person if they have a gun in the car, while, you could make the argument like, I just want to, I think it's more about their reaction.
To asking that question?
Yeah. Don't you play off their reaction? We're like, oh, no, I wouldn't, no. You can search if you want to,
mm-hmm.
versus the, who, me? Anytime somebody says, who, me, that motherfucker's got, he's got a gun, right? So I think that's a good interdiction tool.
Yeah. Or like if there's two people in the car and driver, passenger, and you're like, y'all got any guns in the car? And someone whips their head to that person probably has a gun.
Yeah.
They're looking at the person that has a gun.
Does one of you have a penis? And then, yeah, right. Yeah.
Nobody looked at him.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to be sensitive about this, but why police work? You don't strike me as the police type.
I thought we already had this conversation.
You fucking thug ass motherfucker.
Oh, man.
From the fucking streets of Shaolin, 32 chambers of death, motherfucker.
It's just, I've always wanted to do it.
Okay. Was your family supportive?
Yeah, for the most part. They're obviously the stuff they see. And then I wasn't in the academy during 7/7/16, but I know that like that had an impact on it. It didn't deter me. It's more of them. They're like, "Hey, are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to do it. I don't want to do anything else. It's something that I want to do."
What effect does something like 7/7 or the Seattle, Lakewood, Washington, 4 officers getting murdered in a restaurant? Deputy Goforth getting murdered while getting gas in his patrol, for his, how does that affect you? I mean, I know how it affected me, but how does that affect you?
It teaches you to not get complacent for me. It reminds me, don't get complacent. It reminds me, hey, anytime you walk out that door, like it could be your last.
And we're not besmirching the memory of these officers. They didn't do anything wrong, or we're not quarterbacking them, but the saying is we're honoring the fallen by training the living. And so it teaches you to kind of head on the swivel more, and then at a certain point it gets really bad, and then you really have to, just especially during George Floyd and getting just people constantly sneaking up on you, walking up behind you, stopping on your traffic stops and stuff like that. What's your plan? I mean, you're just going to stay on patrol forever, detective?
What I really like is, how do I say this? Like SWAT stuff, like searching buildings, serving like high risk warrants, stuff like that. I can't do that now.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be tough in your area. Do you have a regional?
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to go with them.
Yeah, because they're a bunch of
they're
a bunch of tobacco chewing hillbilly rednecks.
Yeah,
who all drive the same Dodge Ram.
Yeah,
them motherfuckers, they pass the same Dodge Ram around.
Yeah, there's that, and I'm also into
we don't call these truck nuts. All right, they're just truck gonads. Right?
You talking about the balls that hang in the back?
Yeah. What else could I possibly be fine? I mean, if anybody knows about balls. Right. Right. And so, right. So, okay. So that's challenging. You're from a small area, rural area, not too crazy about your kind of, peers. And so are we thinking, well, if I want to advance in my career in this realm, I might have to, jump ship.
Yeah.
Why not come back over here? Right. Come back to this side.
Yeah.
Of the state, meaning.
Yeah, you just if you jump ship, you just want to about it.
Yeah,
that way, because then they'll be on your shit.
Yeah, but
no, there's that.
I'm processing his background application right now.
There's that, and then there's
also, whose personal history statement is this? No,
how do I say that? It's almost like task force shit.
Yeah,
like setting up fake buys.
Yeah,
and stopping the car when they get there, or being the fake buyer, not necessarily undercover work, but kind of like in that realm, stuff like that.
One would argue that that's undercover work, right?
Yeah,
it's certain like he just has like one patch on, right, that says police. Like, hey, you got this stuff, and he's like turning his shoulder away, like don't worry about the other shoulder. No, it's undercover.
Yeah, or just wearing a jacket over the whole uniform.
Yeah. Like,
hey, you got it.
It's P for, the Portland Trailblazers. Yeah. So that's going to be tough in your area. You're going to have to, you're just going to have to go to a large department. I mean, you don't even have mid-sized departments doing that. Yeah. Alternatively, you go Fed.
I don't know if I go full federal.
What's wrong with that?
Long story.
Yeah. Okay, so.
But no, I know I would have to go elsewhere. I don't know where.
Do you consider yourself tactically sound and of that mind?
Yeah.
You're a tac bro?
A tac bro, yeah. I'm tactical.
Yeah. TAC-BRO. He's a tac bro. He's got he has he carries 2 guns on him. Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
No, he sleeps in 5.11s.
I sleep with the Glock under the pillow.
Yeah. He's got blue line boxes.
Nah, not that far. Never go full sheepdog.
He's got he's got the law enforcement creed tattooed on his back, and but no, it's tattooed backwards on his back so that he can look at it in the mirror. He's like, "There's a fucking law enforcement officer. My fucking fundamental duty is to fucking serve mankind. I'm so close."
Yeah, tattoo it backwards that way they don't know.
Okay, so how when do you get to exercise that muscle then? Right now,
or you talking about like the stuff I want to do? Yeah. I mean, it's very slim. The most thing that where I work has going for it is just being like proactive. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Do you consider yourself proactive? You were.
I was.
Yeah.
After,
and have to tone it down a little bit,
right? It's also one of the things that some people argue is like, you have to be proactive because the call volume is low, but at the same, and some would argue that we're not doing our job if we're not finding shit. Mm-hmm. But like BMVs, an example, BMVs, right? Mm-hmm. Some would argue that we're not doing our job if we're not finding those. Well, if we're not getting any reports of it, we're technically are doing our job because we're being proactive and we're deterring that. You know what I'm saying? I think I went on the topic off of something else like numbers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I went on the topic of numbers. My bad.
No, it's okay. Yeah. Because it's a good point, right?
Yeah.
These are what we call the intangibles, the immeasurable statistics. How many fill in the blank offenses have we prevented just because our patrol unit was in the right place at the right time? Mm-hmm. That's an untrackable statistic. And will they ever correlate a decrease in the burglaries in your beat because you do roll through lights out, down the alleyways instead of just the street levels? That's an untraceable statistic. On the other side of the pipe, it just comes back, BMVs are down in the city of Left Elbow. And so those are the but I like that element. One of the things I remember as a kid was seeing this police magazine. And it's back home, and there's like 2 little kids, right, walking down the street late at night, and there's a patrol car just sitting in the alley. It's kind of like it was just there, and I feel like that's what we're here for, and that might bring you some solace. Hopefully, I mean, if it does, but that might bring you some solace in knowing that okay, they're not tracking the proactivity, but you're there for your citizenry. Mm-hmm.
Some still just straight up, I want proactive, I want numbers, and I'm just like, well,
numbers really means what? Tickets, right? They want summonses.
Yeah.
And, everybody knows that quotas are illegal, but they'll find ways to mask it and stuff. I found that simply by sheer virtue of just doing my job without imputing a quota, that I could write enough tickets to keep the top hats happy. Do you not like writing tickets?
Yes and no. It depends on what I'm writing for. I hate saying this, but like, if I stop you, just be cool. I don't expect you to kiss my ass. I don't expect you to get on your knees, nothing like that. Just be cool with me, and I won't. Not like that. Not like that. Not like
I
that.
didn't say
like,
anything.
Get on my knees, kiss my shoes, nothing like that. I just be cool. I don't expect like a lot from you. Just let it go through, and most of the time you'll get a
maybe a reach around.
I don't know about that. Nah. But no, I mean, I'm cool for the most part. But like,
Attitude goes a long way.
Yeah, and an example I have is like something you won't get out of is like someone's doing 100 on the highway and they got a kid in the backseat. Like, no, like fuck that. I mean, if you wreck out, that wrong way driver DWI story, the kid was strapped. So a strap's not going to do shit when you wreck out like that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I think I hear what you're saying. You're not going to write for bullshit. You know, I'm not writing tail lamps and shit like that unless you fucking piss me off.
Yeah, give me a reason.
Yeah, but you will write the kind of no insurances.
Oh yeah, of course,
the suspendeds and stuff. And so you claim you profess to be proactive, yet you have like 1.5 fucking goddamn stories for the show. You know, what was the last good arrest you had?
The last good arrest I had. Honestly, I can't think of it, man.
It's like July.
Because you get the domestics. Like, you know, they're all damn near the same if you think about it. And sometimes people try to...
They're the same for you. They're the same for us.
Yeah, but the normal the normal person.
Was it a repeat? Was it a chronic location? Just kind of new ones?
All the same. I mean, you go to the same house a couple times, but it's just...
Well, what efforts do you make to intervene? Is it just write it up? Put handcuffs on, here's your yellow brochure, and be gone?
Like for the domestics? I feel like you can only do so much on those. You can only do so much as a cop. The stuff that happens, like once they get released, if there's even an EPO issued, once they go back, it's all up to them because we can only do so much. You got to do your part as the victim or, you know, the victim.
Well, I mean, I agree with the first half, right? Which is... You can only do so much on scene, making contact and all that stuff. You know, have you gone to a domestic when there are kids involved?
Oh, yeah.
And do you file on them for child endangerment if he's pushing her and she knocks into the kid?
Well, the ones that I've gone to, the kids are they're either like, I don't know, like in the living room or something. They observe it. Yeah, but they're just not there. I haven't had one where the kid was like involved.
Oh, what's the worst domestic you've been to?
It came out as a 911 hang up, but the ping wasn't as accurate. So me and my partner were trying to find it. Long story short, we ended up finding the house and they were trying to be like real quiet. Like,
how did you find the house?
I didn't find it. My partner found it. It was more of, how do I say this? It was like an open garage door. They, some people do that where I work. They check open garage doors, like, you know, knock on the door. Hey, your garage door's open.
Okay. I feel like most, is that unique to your city?
It's a courtesy thing that they do. And,
yeah, please cops write in if you've never done this before. Like, I want the cop who's listening to be like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, it's a fairly common thing. Checking on open doors. There's even a call type. Show me out open door, right?
Yeah.
And so you saw an open garage.
Not me, my partner.
The partner saw an open garage.
And my partner went up, and then my partner heard like, you know, some stuff going on. Them turning the lights off and stuff like that.
And this is all tied around the 9/11 hang up, right?
Yeah, the 911 hang up.
Right.
I want to say that they heard crying on the phone call. Okay. Obviously, they didn't say anything, but they heard crying.
Right. And that's all you have right now.
Yeah, that's all we got.
So you're out there. You see the open garage. He sees the open garage door. You're both there now.
Yeah, and me and my partner call for my sergeant. So we're all there. We ended up making entry through the garage door because it was unlocked. Not the sliding door, but like the actual door that connects to the house.
Right.
And I guess we use exigent circumstances to go in based off of everything that we got. 911 hang up that pinged in this area.
Oh, ain't nobody gonna have a gripe with you.
Yeah.
Going in.
And I want to say my partner said that they heard like crying and stuff like that. And people trying to hush each other.
Yeah.
So
no, if you walked in and they were playing Parcheesi, then you'd be like, my bad, like, you know. But no, this app totally reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we ended up going in and.
Was the garage door unlocked?
Yeah, it was unlocked. Okay, right. Making contact with everyone in the house.
Right.
So what ended up happening was husband beat the wife. But the thing that makes this one unique is I've never seen someone like have an injury to where like she was like blocking his punches and her hand was swollen like bad. Like I've never seen a hand swollen up that bad. And then obviously some punches on her face, some swells on her face and stuff like that. So there, you know, that one I was like, oh shit, like I've never seen like someone get punched to the point where their hand swells up like that.
What did he say?
He's from a different country. Mm-hmm. So where he's from, I guess it's normal to hit your wife, and you can't do that down here, boy.
Oh, did you say that? No. That would have been great.
Like this is Texas. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But no, yeah.
I mean, does he say like, yeah, I hit her, so what?
Yeah, honestly, I can't remember that, but
right.
you know that it's normal for that to happen from where that person was from.
Yeah. Because you do have the domestic where the defendant is saying, no, like I didn't hit her. Right. Mm-hmm. Because he knows he hit her, but it's wrong. Right.
Yeah.
But then we have been to those calls where the guy's like, yeah, so yeah, I hit her. Like, because she fucking mouthed off. Mm-hmm. And then what does your victim say?
Doesn't want to press charges.
Of course.
Yeah. Obviously wants to protect him at all costs. I don't want him to go to jail and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, I'm sorry, but you know, he assaulted you. Mm-hmm. I know you're trying to protect him, but who's to say that if we didn't show up and he kept beating on you, then what if you die? Then what?
What does she say to that? No reaction.
Yeah, no reaction. I don't want him to go to jail. I don't all this stuff. So,
what can you do to help her at that point? You know,
I mean, I know that he's back with them already. He's at the house.
Of course,
yeah.
He was back after he got the bond. You know, after he posted bond.
Yeah,
and why did you pick that as your story that sticks out to you? Just because of the injuries?
The injuries. I mean, I have others. But I guess it's one that I feel good when I make arrests, but like this one, for some reason, it felt good because we found them. It's not like, hey, my husband's beating me and you go straight to the house. Like we found this house. Like, you know, we went out of our way because and I say we, but it's really my partner that found the house because
it's still a team effort.
Yeah. If it wasn't for my partner finding the house, I mean, we would have went back on patrol.
So, well, yeah, I mean, we've all been to 911 hangups, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the address is like 9999 East Main Street. Like, okay, well, that doesn't exist. There's no 9000 block. And after some point, you know, you get there's a fucking pole. You're like, all right, I don't know where this is coming from. Clear UTL.
Yeah.
And you guys very easily could have done that and went to eat. Mm-hmm. But you kind of did your due diligence and you know what I'm saying? And that's part of doing your fucking job.
Yeah, and like I said, that's the main reason why, because I felt good about this one.
If we can just piggyback off this last story as a final note, which is, so you said it felt good because you did the work, because it's almost like you earned the arrest. Because we've had arrests that fall into our laps. Or, you know, you walk by, the guy's like doing cocaine right next to you. You're like, that seems like an offense. You're like, sir? But the ones you work for, and I've talked about, you know, investigations and doing the investigative work and working hard. I know it might be difficult where you're at, but did you have a case that resulted in you putting handcuffs on somebody that you worked hard to get?
I need to like prepare for this because I know that there's some there.
You're never coming back. Okay.
No, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Honestly, not that I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah. If for sure, like I'll come prepared next time.
That's okay. Again, you're never coming back.
No, I'm coming back.
So, if you talk about, you know, kind of working, being handcuffed because we've all felt handcuffed at some point by our agency and stuff like that. And, you know, I think there are two challenges, right? One is figuring out how to plan your exit, if that even happens.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is like starting to like work within those boundaries and working hard to like overcome, improvise, and adapt. What do you, what's the goal? What's the plan? I mean, for me, it was light up the fucking scoreboard. You know, that's difficult when you're trying to lay low. I'm not a lay low kind of guy, which is probably why I started a podcast. But what's your plan? How do you plan? What's your method? What's your roadmap for success?
For sure, jumping ship. Just got to find the right spot.
Sure.
I don't want to work somewhere where it's too political. I don't want to work. I don't want to work at a huge agency just because it's not something that I could see myself doing.
Yeah, there's middle ground, right?
Yeah, I want to work somewhere where it's like middle ground basically. Yeah. It'd be cool to be a sheriff's deputy. That's one thing I do look to. Don't want to be a state trooper just because I want to go to calls and stuff like that. Not bashing them, like amazing guys, but I don't.
Yeah, it's a different job role. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but definitely do that for the time being while I'm here. Just keep my head low. Try to keep my numbers at a decent amount. That way I don't keep them watching me too much, even though I kind of feel like I got eyeballs like on me. And just stay my ass out of trouble.
Most important thing is not getting jaded.
Yeah. And that's the thing, dude. Like the whole story thing, I say I'll come prepared next time is because for the people that are watching, I'm being like vague to try to not make it too obvious about who I am. I'm not saying I'm scared, but that's how much I'm afraid that someone might, identify me or stuff like that. I don't want to get in trouble for,
And we try to grant cops anonymity so they can speak freely and share what's truly on their minds.
Mm-hmm.
This is, for my listeners, I mean, this is how much they fear. Like, this is how badly cops fear just speaking what's on their minds. And this is why I love the freedom of being on this side of the table.
Yeah. It looks nice over there.
I can say whatever the fuck I want. Fucking white people. Thanks so much for listening, subscribing, and sharing. Please rate and review the show and follow us on all platforms. You can hear us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Our website is nfipodcast.com, YouTube at NFI Podcast, and please reach out to us at podcast@nfipodcast.com. New episodes released weekly or whenever I feel like it. Help us spread the show, tell us what you think, and put a buddy on. I'll see you out there. Stay safe and remember, do your job.